Hi there, today we're going to make another card for my In With the New, Out With the Old. So I'm going to be using all new product here. This is called Raspberry Tart Designer Series paper, and this square is 3 by 3, and I'm mounting it onto Regal Rose, and this piece of Regal Rose is 3 1/4 by 3 1/4, and then I'm going to mount that onto a piece of Rose Red that is 3 1/2 by 3 1/2. And then this will all get mounted onto my card in just a minute. But before I do that, I want to make a background for my card. And I'm going to use the new stamp set called Sweet Stems. And to start with our background, we're just going to use this piece here, this stamp here. So I'm just going to put my cardstock on a piece of scratch paper and open up my old olive ink pad. And then I'm just going to randomly stamp this all over my card. And I like to make sure that I go in all directions. So I tend to rotate my stamp as I go around my card. So I flip it over in direction. And the other thing that's important is to make sure that you stamp off. And what I mean by that is have some of your flower coming on your card and some of it off your card. So I'm going to do the front and back. And the reason you want to make sure you have some of your stamp going off of your card is because if not, you can end up with quite the circular or oval shape on your card, because if you're always trying to get whole ones on, they tend to form that oval. So I've got my randomly stamped background on the front and back of my card. Again, I'm trying to make sure I embellish all of my cards, so I've got that here. And now my square of designer paper, I'm just going to tie a knot here, and I've got the Regal Rose 1/4 inch grosgrain ribbon. Again, all the product, and I've been asked in some of my comments on my videos, all the product I do use is Stampin' Up. So I've tied my ribbon. I'm just going to trim my ends. And I like to not center things or have them at half, so I'm going to have that below half. And now I'm just going to snail here. Here we go. Woo. And I'm going to put that onto my card, and it's going to go in the bottom corner. And now I'm going to use I've got some Regal Rose here, and this piece measures 2 1/4 inches by 1 3/4 inches, and I'm using dimensionals for this. So I'm going to pop it up, and I like to do that over ribbon so you don't get a funny bump on your card where the ribbon is. So I'm going to just put that here. And rather than an 1/8 of an inch border, I only want 1/16 of an inch. So my next layer of Rose Red is actually 2 1/8 by 1 5/8. And now my image is going to be stamped here on the Whisper White using Basic Gray ink. I've got my Basic Gray. And I'm just going to pick a different flower. So I'm going to stamp this off to the side. And I want my stem to go off the page. Perfect. And now I'm going to color that in using the Stampin' Right markers. So I'm just going to use the Old Olive, and our markers have a skinny and a fat end. I encourage you to color with the fat end, and save your skinny end for journaling and some of your fine details. It's really important to be gentle with these markers, because the rougher you are, the more you have to replace them. But my set of markers I've had now for about 2.5 years, and I've only had to replace one marker. So let me zoom in on this for you so you can see that a little bit clearer. I'm going to color this part in here with Pretty in Pink. And I'm going to just now accent using the Rose Red. So again, using the wide end. Just going to color that in and color my dots. And I've got myself a very, very simple, clean, crisp image. And what I'm going to do now is I'll just adhere this to my card front, and then I'm going to leave it blank. And if I want to, come time to send this card, I could stamp a little greeting up here, but I really like the simplicity of this sweet stem. So here's the outside of my card, and then the inside of my card, I simply have a 4 by 5 1/4 inch piece of Rose Red cardstock, and then I cut a 4 by 1 1/2 inch piece of the Raspberry Tart designer paper to go on the inside. And very simply, I've got the inside of my card and the outside. Thanks for joining me. Hope you like it.